So will a putter grip really make that much difference in your game? Let's find out. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McCleary here in the McFitting Room, and this is going to be a review on a putter grip. I know, oh geez, a putter grip, Jim, but you really should take a look, just take a listen, take a look, whatever it is that you're doing when you watch this stuff, and just hear me out on this one. So as we've seen on TV, there's a variable, different kinds of grips that the pros use on the putting tour. Various types of grips that instructors want to tell you. The real problem in a lot of cases is that although the grips may very well work for you, the putter grip on the putter may not. All right, does that make sense? And so you really have to know, depending on the type of putter grip that you put on it, that you're going to need a particular kind of putter grip. That's where this group comes into, the BJM Golf Company, right? And they have the Kotahi. And as you can tell, this guy is about 4 hands wide, right? And it is very, very odd shaped. It's got basically a big teardrop kind of look, and it's very tall, right? Very tall. Has a nubbin-like pattern on it, and it gives it a tactile feel, which is nice. It's not intrusive, and the grip has a tack but not a stick. Okay. Comes in multiple colors: the black, the blues, the greens, the reds, all that stuff. Now, they have a website that shows you that you can use this. And in general, basically what you do is you get your hands underneath so that they're under. And when you get them under, you lower your hands low, and then you lower your hand, and then you bend down into it. And what that does is that locks everything in so that you're putting basically in one motion, right? It takes out a lot of articulation, and that's really what you're looking for in a putting stroke. So take a look at their website, particularly if you're looking at something like this. Now, so does it work, right? Does it work? Well, let's find out. I got my friend Bob, and he and I golf quite a bit together, and he was like the perfect example for this particular putter grip. He used we'll call it underhand grip. But he had a standard issue grip that was on the putter. And what he was doing, he was fighting it, and he was hitting with a flick at the very end, missing putts to the left. So we put this guy on, and then we went to the website to get with the right way of using the putter grip, using the putter grip. and we took some measurements using the Capto, which is going to be new when I talk about putters. We're going to use the Capto device. The Capto device is an instrument from Italy that claps onto the back end of the putter and gives out tons of information. You're going to see that here in just a moment. Now, when we get into that, we looked at what he was doing beforehand, and he had this. There was a couple of things that were very, very. You could see it, right? And what had happened was he started with a toe very much down. But when he swung, or when he finished his putt, he finished with a toe up. Also, that the club face was very much closed because of the flick, and that in a new thing you're going to see is that the stress that along the putting line, there was a whole bunch going into the back and quite a few going into the front. So will this putter grip help Bob? Let's go find out. All right, using the Capto, which is basically a putter launch monitor, for lack of a better term, as you can see, there is a ton of information to find and to use. But not to get things too confused and to kind of keep things a little bit simplified, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a few of what I think is an important parameter, and then we'll talk about that and how they impacted Bob when it came time to change over to the putter. Okay, so when we have these, I've picked these 8 different areas in order to see or show you guys how this is going to work, how changing to a different grip would work. Okay, so first we're going to go to the face angle. We'll give you some numbers, and this is the very first putt after You know, we gave Bob the new grip, talked about some of the things he needed to do, gave him 10 shots, and then started recording. And this is what we got out of it. And in the first one, we see this is a model of how the putter will start as I'm moving the line to the backstroke, and then it changes, and you can see the putter is open, and then we sling it down into this next line, and that's impact. All right, and it shows it just being a degree open with all this information that's getting there. Now we can go through this on all 13 strokes that he had. At impact, he was very, very consistent. If we use the history button, he had a minimum of a degree and a half on one of the worst putts, with the max just the other way, with the average of change of only a 0.2 degree, with a 90% consistency and showing improving. So what was happening, and we went through the 13 strokes, 2 of them, we started putting and started getting excited about doing well, and I had to slow him down in order for him to say, okay, do the motion the same way. And every time we did that, it came back. So face angle, getting more square inside of a degree happened almost immediately. If we go to the next one, which is the loft of the putter, you know, and again we use the slider, and we start at the putt, it comes back. As he brings it back, it's down. It makes the transition from the backswing to the foreswing, and as he gets to impact, it's just a slightly a half a degree de-lofted. Now, how does it work for him in here? In reality, he had a minimum of a degree with a maximum of 0.4, and he only had an average change of like less than a half a degree. Quite consistent with it, but he had the trend was going down, and as you can see, more of it was going this way. But at least he was consistent. We know how that would work. Going to the next one is the lie angle. Now this one was important because in his original putter with the original grip that he started, and it was very toe down, and then you swing and it would end up very toe up. Once we decided to change the putter and we worked on a little bit of the stroke, then we see that it stayed level, and as it went down, it just barely changed to where it came back to almost square yet again and all the way through. Now, how did he do in all 13 shots? As you can tell, very, very, very consistent, and on an improving trend. So as you can see in the changes so far, the face angle, the loft angle, the lie angle were very, very consistent, which in the beginning they were not. Now let's do the track. All right, now this one is the one that we had to work on the most, because as we talked, he had a bit of a flip with the regular one, and it was always coming to the inside. And this particular setup, with the way that you hold the putter, it locks you in quite a bit, and with the putter grip, it locks you in. And this used to be an angle that was very steep at the very end, causing this face to be closed. Well, now he's, you know, very square on impact, and it's flattening this curve. I doubt I'll ever see one going straight, because you're always going to be on some level of an arc, so it's not too bad. So if we look at this one, and it goes through to impact, very, very well done, and then it goes through and it finishes that way. Now it was on that one. If we go all the way to the other, that was number 13. If we go to the first one, you can see that it was a little bit longer and a little bit flatter. Now if we just pick one at random, we'll just pick one in the middle, you can see how it's still not real dramatic like we talked about, but it's still out there. Not too bad. 60%. This is the one that Bob's going to have to work on, because of what was once the flick. Once he gets through it, we should be good to go. Total energy balance. But basically what this is telling us is how well and where Bob was hitting it on the putter. So at a -4 means he was just a tiny, tiny bit to the toe side. And that's basically what this is showing us, that it was a tiny bit to the toe side. However, he was consistently doing that, and he was starting to get closer and closer towards the center. Now, this is the one that I wanted to bring to your attention that really impressed me quite a bit. When we measured this, and I'm going to say it again when we get done, but on the regular putter, we measured on the regular putter. I just didn't save a session. When you see the yellows and the reds, that means there was some bit of a, we'll call it stress. In almost every single one with the regular putter grip, we counted around 16 stress points, and then some crazy number that was over here. Now we get through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one big one. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then into it. So what this means is the severity and the number have gone down. If we go to the other end of it, again, fewer numbers, but it gets down to the end, and this is where you can tell a telltale sign of flipping. But if you just take a look at it as a whole, you can see he's smoothed out quite a bit, and he's very much the 100%, but we need to still work on a little bit of what's going on there. All right, the tempo time in the changes, he was very, very consistent. I don't think he quite made the 2.0, but he did make the 1.9. And I would say that's a very, very, very good number. So this is what it was. This is just some of the things that I wanted to show you that the Capto can do. As you can see, there's all kinds of other information to be had, and we will be doing that some more going forward. I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that we go from something like this to something like that, and that there's just so much to see. And one more thing to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at is the 3D motion. You get to see that, and you get to see the putt, and there that last bit right there is the part we still need to work on. So again, guys, this is what I just wanted to talk about, the things that Capto does and the things that you can improve by just changing a putter grip. So let's go back and we're going to talk about it some more. All right, so we went looking, and you can see that it did help Bob, right? It did help Bob. And when he went from toe down to toe up to sole, very much everything got within a degree. If you can get within a degree and you're putting, you're doing really good, okay? And we also saw where the stress in his backswing went from, what was it, 16 different points. Well, you didn't get to see, but he had 16 different points where he was just holding on to the grip in such a fashion, it was awful, down to 4 to 6 in the back. And then at the front, it was very, very smooth and just until impact, and some of those numbers would just jump. And the reason why is the grip was fighting back, and it wasn't allowing him to get turned over the way that he wanted to. If you're looking for that different kind of a putter grip style, and you're looking to kind of lock yourself in, this very well might be what you're looking for, right? Now, is this to change the type of putter that you need? No. It just locks you into a lot of different, locks you in from a lot of different movements, so you're a little more solid, at least in this particular issue. So BJM putters, BJM golf, Kotahi grip, right? And give them a look and see what you think. Now, what you're seeing here at the very end is something along the lines of, hey, how about you subscribe? Hey, how about you take a look at something else that's going on there? And I appreciate it if you do. Learn some more about golf. And if you got any comments, put them in the show notes below, and let's see your scores. Go low. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McCleary here with my friend Bob. And I really, really want to do one of those funny, this is Bob, and he needs some putter stuff. However, when we talk about putting it's fun, but it's not funny when you miss, right? And that's the part that we wanted to talk about. So Bob and I have known each other for quite a long time. Bob spent basically his entire career outside in a bucket truck as a lineman, all right? And if you guys have never seen a lineman work, you need to appreciate this. These are the guys that keep the power on, keep everything going for your stuff in the most inclement of weather, all right? It's just horrible what some of these guys work through. Now, that being said, Bob's a stout guy, and he's now enjoying retirement, and he's out playing golf quite a bit, and he's out playing me in a lot of cases. But in putting, I can stand toe to toe with him only because some days he's dead on, some days not so much. And so we talked about this. I got contacted by a putter group, and Bob took it upon himself to have this. You know, you've got the claw, and you got all these different ones, and he gravitated towards a different style. Okay. And next thing I know, I'm getting a contact from a group called BJM Putters. And I'll put the link in the show notes. And they said, would you be interested? And I said, I got a guy that this would be perfect for. And because he was struggling with something, we'll talk about that in a minute. So what we have is from BJM, the Kotahi Putter Grip. And hopefully I'm saying this correctly. I believe the chaps are Australian. Okay, at least that if you go to their website, they're Australian. And they have a putting system of which it tries to lock you down so that you reduce the moving parts. That's the simplified version. And in order to do that, they've got a new putting grip for it. And that's what happened. So what we were doing when we first started, he had a regular putter. We fit him into a Toulon Austin. All right, a Toulon Austin with the regular grip, right? Because we like that one. And he started grabbing underneath, and I was like, well, okay, this is different. And he's lighting it up, and I thought, well, ball going hole, no big deal. And all of a sudden, it stopped going in the hole. All right, and where were we missing? Left, right, both?
Mostly left.
All right, so mostly to the left. Now he's a right-handed guy, putting like this. And he came over the other day, and I saw what was happening is that he was really pushing with the bottom hand, flippy, pushy, whatever you want to call it, but it really looked, to kind of exaggerate it, he'd go back like this, and then it would go like that. And we did that. We saw that, right? And so I attached the Capto unit. So we're kind of introducing a couple of new things. We're introducing Bob. We're introducing the putter grip, and we're introducing Capto. We had Bob putt with his old style, and we found basically we're calling it kicking or flipping, right? We're calling it kicking. So we knew we had to stop that. And we also found what? Toe up?
Yeah, toe up.
So when he was putting, so we look at, there's a couple things. There's the lie angle at impact, the face angle at impact, the loft angle at impact, right, were the big things, and then the path that it was taking. Now the Capto takes a gazillion different things, and we're going to talk about the grippy part of it. That was neat. But so what we found is at impact he was up, right? He was pretty good at impact for face angle, but in particularly he was more to the close than you were to the open, right? And then this was more of a down, right?
Yep.
And that was more from coming this way. And the big thing is from the path angle, nice and easy back this way, but more of a kick that way, and that was from the way we were putting. In comes the Kotahi.
Yes.
And it's a different one. So what felt different to you when you first got onto the grip?
You didn't have to grip it as hard because on the other grip I was gripping it. I had a death grip on it.
So because it is bigger, guys. I mean, I extra large hand, and it's bigger, right?
Yeah.
But what was the other part? This is, now keep in mind, this isn't your standard issue putter grip.
No.
Right. So why like that for you? Why underneath?
It just feels easier for me, because if I get the regular putting grip and put your hands together, I get really flippy.
Okay.
And I think that's what you found out when you put the monitor on it, is that I go really flippy.
So we really had to work out the new, because there is a bit of a system to it, right?
Yep.
So go through that. What did you find? I mean, what did you like the way that it showed up?
Yeah, you don't have to grip it as hard, and when you drop your hands down, it puts you in your arms in close, and then you can use your shoulders. That's what I found out.
And that's what this is for. So if you go to the website, and this is very, very short in there, a couple of minutes that they do it, you grab it underneath, you get this hand set, you reset yourself here, and what happens is, if you notice, you can't, if you're out here like this, it feels foreign.
Yeah.
Right? So by underneath it pulls your elbows in. Then you drop it down to a certain extent, then you let the wrist down, and then you get over to your sole. So as a whole movement, you just kind of go and you're into your sole, and that's what really go.
Yep.
So did you find that the bigger grip helped you stop flipping,
or stopped flipping it when we decided the procedure to do it. Just drop it down, your arms go in, and then you putt with your shoulders. So, and that helped tremendously.
So I let him putt, and we putt, because it was new. We got him 10 in a series of 10, 10, 10, and 10. And the first 10, we were seeing a little bit of a fight until we realized what was going on. And the second 10, it just completely smoothed out.
Yeah.
So what we saw was, instead of this at address, we saw it basically flat, which was really something to see. Then at this was just as good as it was before, but not as excessive in either direction. We went from, as a whole, he was at that degree-ish, right, at face angle, one way or to another, to less than a degree-ish at face angle, which is also a good thing, so your misses are less. In fact, we did that average on that aim point, and on the average, he was 0.2 degrees to the open instead of very much to the close, which is pretty good. The other one that was really good, so lie angle was really good, face angle was really good, and the real star attraction was the path.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of, he's still a little closed, but instead of here and going like this, it's here and going more out. And so did you feel a difference when you did that?
Yes. It stops you from flipping your hands, and I can't answer how it does it, but it does.
But it throws it out towards the target, which made it so much better. So there's a lot going on. Now the other part that Capto, and this is where we kind of let Capto shine, was what really was an eye opener is they have what's called a tremble section. So it's just like it knows when you're gripping, right? It feels that vibration.
Yep.
And what was the first? So it measures it in the backswing. It takes you back, and then it takes you back, and from the back going forward. How do we do this? When it shows you putting back and coming, and then at the transition coming through. From the transition going forward, then to the impact, right?
After the impact.
So coming back and then coming forward. And what was the worst one we saw? With the regular putter grip, we saw 16?
Yes.
We saw 16. So it tells you when you're doing normal, when you're grabbing kind of tight, and then grabbing really tight, right?
Yeah.
And there were 16 points in the backswing where he was gripping. He went from normal to gripping tight, and then in the front swing we saw, what did we see? Like 8 or 10 or something like that. 8 or 10 going forward, and you could see where the flip. You could see in every instance where the flip was beginning to start. So after number 10, using this guy, we went back and we counted 4. All right. In most cases, the back streak was 4.
Yeah.
So basically, even Steven, right? It was nice and even. Now going forward, in a couple of cases, I'd say probably about the same number, but the severity level went down. Although in the beginning, it went way up because you're fighting that thing going like that, and then you realize, and you could see it as the number of putts went up, the severity level went down.
Yeah.
And it was trying to make that happen, and he was forced, and the putter grip just wouldn't let him do it.
Yeah.
And then he realized, oh, that's a good thing, and then all of a sudden it just calms straight out. So it was about 4 on each side. So it makes it for an easier stroke.
One of the big things, it helps you get your arms in.
Yep.
Which helped me a bunch.
And because what we like to do is in most putters, from here and a triangle, and you get to here. Now you're not going to be putting with your arms out here, but that's the kind of the motion that you want. So how do you get into that motion? You can't get in here and do it. That's old Palmer-esque kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So what you do is you get it into here, and now you're forced to move your body a little bit more. And I'm obviously swinging really big on arc, but because you're only going to putt maybe that wide, but so it's pretty cool.
Yep.
So all in all, what do you think?
Oh, big change for me, and actually my putter stroke smoothed out.
Yes. So now what you're seeing here is the beginning of me starting to ask for strokes. That's what's happened is me starting to ask for strokes now that we've done that.